Niagara-on-the-Lake sits on the shores of Lake Ontario at the mouth of the Niagara River. It's known for its wineries, food, and Shaw Festival. The flower-filled, tree-lined old town features 19th century buildings.
I have memory of living in Port Robinson and working at the Gatehouse Hotel in the early 90s when I first immigrated from Italy, and always had a special place on me.
I have memories of coming here and staying with family in the summer as a child and picking delicious peaches and cherries. It's so fresh and delicious.
Now we want to share with you some more of the hidden gem we visited over the weekend for you to explore our Mediterranean experience in Niagara.
So we had an incredible weekend, and that's what we always think of as an incredible weekend and day that we experienced. So today we went to Spirits on Niagara.
And I think it was inspiring to see this phenomenal man in Arnie, an inspiration.
This is an interesting concept that Arnie Lepp has come up with, and he owns tons of orchards around, I forget how many, it's like 200 acres of orchards around Niagara. And one thing that he's noticed is that a lot of the orchards, they have a lot of waste. Thank you so much for having us come here. I love it. This is such a beautiful place. What inspired you? I mean, 4 generations of farming and orchards. I mean, it's quite something. What inspired you to create this place?
Well, thanks, Anita. I mean, it was definitely the concept of throwing away fruit for that many generations, right? And it took probably 4 generations to figure out a good reason or what we could do with it. So we take all the fruit and we make spirits with it. We do cooking with it. Anything that isn't acceptable at the major chains like Loblaws or Sobeys, we ferment into wine and then distill into spirits.
And you've had it in your blood. I mean, 4 generations. So it was your great-great-great-grandfather?
So my kids worked on the farm, and I have to give them credit for being the 4th generation. So yeah, my grandfather and my father were tender fruit farmers. Not on a big scale, because it was difficult back then to have a family and just fruit farm. There's not a lot of money in fruit farming, but it does create great products, right?
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good that your family's stuck in it, and you've created so many great things, and you're a visionary for what you've created here, and working with that extra, I guess it's around 10% of waste products that
Right.
you can create into something else. So,
Right.
so what is the future for this place, and what do you have in your vision?
So market share obviously is a motivating factor, and to provide the variety of products that we think people might want to experience. So right now we have 10 different fruit spirits. Well, 2 of them are whiskeys and bourbons. We'll do another bourbon-style whiskey. We will ferment within the next week some excess cherries, and we'll make a kirsch or a very fruit-flavored or based type of product.
You're speaking my language. Kirsch. Oh, I think of fondue.
That too, yeah. It all fits in with food and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So that a lot of people cook with wine, but there are avenues where we can not only act as an aperitif, but also cook with some of the spirits that we make here.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate you having us here, and I'm looking forward to trying some more of your products.
Thank you, Anita and Dario. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity.
And then this young man, which is Adriano, then, to me, I was saying, to me it was an inspiration today. Here's a young man from Sicily that took the guts, like I took, to leave their homeland and come to North America and really showcase the heart of their land, but the passion of what they're living right now.
Then also we had a chance to be able to go with Nicole, and Nicole's great business in picnicking. It's a really wonderful experience with Nicole, and her passion. She was an ex-student of Dario's that had gone to Italy. I love listening to her story about the Mediterranean lifestyle and what she learned, because Dario's program where he brings chefs to Italy, really is teaching them how to cook in Italy to be able to experience the food and the cultures, because that's what changes things. And it changed her life because she came back with her Italian husband, started this business. He is actually cooking in the restaurant there, so it's quite phenomenal.
Un ragusano in Canada.
Sì.
Allora spiega un po'. Com'è?
Conosciuto mia moglie 6 anni fa, lei è venuta al ristorante dove lavoravo, l'hai mandato tu lì?
È colpa mia di nuovo.
È colpa
È
tua.
sempre colpa mia. Va bene, allora racconta più una cosa. Allora, come ti trovi qua? Sei al Canada, hai lasciato l'Italia, la cucina
Sì.
mediterranea, i prodotti freschi che ci sono nel sud dell'Italia.
Sì.
E mo sei qua?
E l'ho ritrovati anche qua. Ho ritrovato tanti prodotti freschi, inaspettati, perché non sapevo che c'era tutta questa grande varietà.
Certo.
Ci sono quasi 200 varietà di funghi solo in Ontario.
Benissimo.
You know? Ci sono ciliegie fresche, pesche, albicocche, tante verdure, zucchine, melenzane, pomodori, tantissima varietà di roba fresca.
Ma spiega una cosa, perché qui il progetto qua è bellissimo, sei alla Distillery.
Sì.
Sei forse nel posto più bello che c'è nel sud del Canada. Sei nella penisola, sei
Sì.
proprio nel mondo del vino, della frutta. E come funziona il tuo menù qua?
Qua il menù è concentrato con tutte le risorse che abbiamo
Certo.
dalle nostre campagne,
Certo.
prendiamo tanta verdura e tanta frutta da persone locali.
Certo.
E il nostro motto è anche di ridurre tanto il waste, che è una cosa importante.
Certo.
Quella è cosa facciamo nei nostri prodotti.
La nonna, i nonni in Sicilia,
Sì.
cosa facevano? Utilizzavano quello che avevano in campagna
Sì,
e usavano tutto.
sì, si usava quello che si poteva e quello
Certo.
che avevi disponibile per le stagioni.
Certo.
Stagioni conta tantissimo, no?
Certo.
Sì.
E quindi si ritorna indietro, quindi si è ritornati indietro coi tempi,
Sì,
non a Ragusa,
ma
a
in
Niagara-on-the-Lake.
yeah.
Bellissimo. Quindi praticamente tu utilizzi tutto quello che c'è nei dintorni qua.
Sì,
Dal mercato poi arrivano gli
Sì.
asparagi, dal lago ti arriva il pesce,
sì,
ovviamente da dove siete qua, voi, la Distillery qua, avete tutta la vostra frutta.
sì, noi abbiamo tutta la nostra frutta.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this table setting.
Thank you.
And the whole idea and concept of a picnic in an orchard.
It's absolutely gorgeous out here.
So Nicole, tell me more about the business. Tell me more about your creation and why you did it.
Of course. I mean, I've always loved to be creative. I started off studying to be a chef at George Brown, and I found myself that it wouldn't be what I want to do for the rest of my life. So, but I really wanted to stay in the hospitality industry around food and beverage always. And then when I was working in the restaurant industry, I found myself almost burnt out. Like a lot of people will agree with me, because that's what's very common in the industry. And I realized that I want something a little bit more relaxing, but I also wanted to create that for other people, and I wanted them to have a relaxing experience where they can just be themselves outdoors, connecting with people and connecting with nature at the same time.
So Dario always talks about conviviality, and because he was raised in Italy, it's a Latin word about bringing people together. And me being North American, I was like, I don't understand what that word is, but now I know. And it's that connection and bringing people together.
Community.
And it's one of the principles in our Mediterranean lifestyle, and it's so important to be able to create this, and by doing this, it's phenomenal. So the orchard, what made you decide to do, I know you do it in other places too, but what made you decide to do it here, and what's so special about this location?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, a view is always really important when you have a picnic. What's a picnic without a view?
Yeah.
So orchards are perfect. I mean, we do have vineyards here, so that would be a great idea as well. But I think the orchards provide a lot more shade and some privacy as well to people, especially after the pandemic. And then the other factor was the distillery. I mean, you have food, you have alcohol, you have the beautiful scenic view. What else do you need for the picnic?
Yeah.
It's a one-stop shop for everything here.
And I guess living in the Mediterranean, you've brought this back, you and Adriano, right?
Exactly,
And understanding and these facilities and everything as well. So.
Oh yeah, it was definitely something that we've learned over there and wanted to bring with us, because it's so important. Like you feel a lot more calm when, not just when you're on vacation, but when you live over in Europe, right? So you want to bring the same feeling here. And, you know, yes, Toronto and other cities, it's a little bit harder. But when you're out here in Niagara, it's so similar to the Mediterranean because, you know, even just the lifestyle, like time is slower here. So, and that's how I feel.
Questa è la cosa importante, che si ritorna alla semplicità della convivialità che abbiamo avuto sempre in Italia, alla domenica, nelle feste, però anche qua tu hai portato un po' di tua italianità a Niagara facendo questo pollo praticamente con sapori siciliani, versione nordamericana. Bellissimo, bellissimo, bellissimo piatto, veramente bello.
Cerchiamo di unire tutti e due i posti
e poi la bellezza è come tu sei venuto qua. Tu sei venuto qui grazie a tua moglie adesso, che io la conosco molto bene, Nicole, che praticamente abbiamo qualcosa in comune. Io mi ricordo che Nicole è venuta con me in Italia e dopodiché è rimasta in Italia grazie a te. E vedi, le storie sono belle, perché io lo chiamo il circolo della vita. E il circolo della vita ti dà queste belle opportunità di vivere insieme questa Mediterranean lifestyle che diciamo. Io e Anita viviamo questi momenti speciali, con gente speciale, ma come vivi questi momenti?
Con del buon cibo.
Con del buon cibo e dividere il pane tra di noi. This is what a Mediterranean lifestyle is all about. That's what we are, or what we should be most of the time as human beings, inspire. Whatever we showcase today is what we are. And I think the world needs to maybe take a step back, you know, maybe forget about the fluff maybe that is around and keep it a little more simple. Food is passion, food is a conduit of life. But the most important thing about life is love and connection and passion.
Casa Mia was a beautiful find. Oh my goodness. So it had so many different traditional type of Italian cuisine. It was so delicious. And the experience that we got to do was in the kitchen with his mom, with himself, with his brother, and the whole concept around farm to table with this type of cuisine, the Italian cuisine, that's really genuine to his heart. You can tell and you can see.
We are going back to something that was created many, many years ago by their parents. The simplicity, the flavors, la voglia di vivere, I call it. We are at Terra Mia. Terra Mia, which is my beautiful land. Claudio Mollica, great guy, passionate guy. Tell me what is all this?
So Terra Mia is the brainchild of my brother and I with our restaurant, Casa Mia. So hence the play of words of Terra Mia, Casa Mia. Casa Mia meaning my house. And it's very aptly named because we're there with our family and we've been there since 1984. So we're 38 years at the same location doing what we do. And I was 10 and I was literally brought up in a restaurant environment. And we're a family-run restaurant, but we're a family of restaurateurs. So there's actual background there and proper training, international standards that my brother and my mother brought to the table when they were with Canadian Pacific, so now Fairmont. So that's where those international standards came. Then we inject the Italian flavor, our background, the things we learned from the homeland, the traditions, things, grandmother's plates. And that's what we put that in with those standards, and we create this Italian dining experience that is proper, but still has a heart and a soul and still has that warmth of Italy. It's not contrived, it's genuine. I always like to say we're nothing if we're not genuine. So, and we like to bring that accoglienza that comes with true Italian hospitality.
I love that, accoglienza.
Accoglienza is a very big part of what we do.
One of the biggest things, and I'm going to say the word, Anita's going to laugh at it because I'm going to call it conviviality. And you guys are the epitome of conviviality, the convivial word when everybody's together. You know, we believe in our Mediterranean lifestyle. You know, what are the important steps about this one? And I think you guys live that and you teach it every single day.
Absolutely, you're 100% right about that. Like I laugh at all the coined terms that are now being out there that we talk about and it's great because it's educated people to understand that food has a place and they connect it with the farm to table and 100-kilometer diet, and it's beautiful. But in Italy, that's just Italian sensibility.
No, yeah,
There's
that's
no
right.
there's no other way of doing it. That's just how we do it. This is my cheese guy, that's my meat guy, that's my honey guy. Like, it's so idiosyncratic and, you know, singular and specialized, and that's so we tried to connect those things here, and we realized that in Niagara we're in the fruit belt, a lot of producers, there's a lot of animal rearing, there's fish farms, there's produce, we grow our own stuff, we do a lot of our own curing, a lot of our own pickling, so scratch cuisine, right?
The day then people are gonna say, you know what? I'm just gonna have everything as long as it's done in a convivial way,
Yeah, and in moderation.
in moderation, and a sustainable way. But
right.
Sustainable way doesn't mean that it's perfect.
No.
It's just good.
I was going to say, at least consider it. You know,
That's
like
right.
not being wasteful, being mindful, trying to use things completely, you know, and that's a big part of it too. And that's a big enemy right now. And I think in the future, I think there'll be a food revolution, a food and water revolution.
I agree.
And I think it's coming because as the planet grows, and there's going to be less of these things. And so these are important projects, this sustainable type of living where you grow, kind of going full circle again, where you can sustain and grow and be considerate to the planet and to each other.
It's a blessing to have people like that. I think Casamia was an inspiration to anyone, an inspiration to me. I mean, forget about the food is just beyond. But he's honest.
We know and we've seen the other side when you allow yourself to open yourself up to self-discovery, when you connect, when you really give to each other and allow that. And also in life, you know, as empty nesters, as someone transitioning into a different stage of life, we get so caught up in that same realm of every day without taking the time to do things together, simplicity of cooking together. I mean, people nowadays, they just order those meals and put them in the microwave. You have that time and connection together that's so important.
I don't want people to remember me as Dario Tomaselli is the chef, because that's not what I need to be remembered, because I'm Dario Tomaselli the cook, passionate cook, but I want to be remembered to be part of this movement of people, then they can kind of spend maybe a little more time together, maybe put a break on it, and maybe spending more time on really enjoying who we are.
We are Rich Life strategist Anita Heidema.
And Chef Dario Tomaselli. We were given a second chance at life, and now inspire you to live your life with the wisdom that we call Mediterranean lifestyle.
Health, happiness, connection through food, travel, and 8 principles that you can do from anywhere in the world.